What is up, everybody? Ground Fog, Neil, how you guys doing? How y'all doing? You gonna stick around today, Ground Fog, or you gonna lurk like you did last live? You kind of just popped in, and never said anything after that. How you doing, Neil? How you doing? So, if you saw on Instagram today, last night, me and the family went down to Jacksonville, Florida, to go to a minor league baseball game, the Jumbo Shrimps, and that's Bucky here supporting a Jumbo Shrimp because it's the South on the coast and shrimp and Jumbo Shrimp. But no, the Jumbo Shrimps is the farm team that the minor league team that the Miami Marlins owns and uses for their players that are rising talent and prospects for the majors. So that's where we were last night, and yeah, had a good time. Had a good time. Food was good, beer was good, baseball was pretty good. They did not win. They were playing a team from North Carolina that is part of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays farm team, and so they lost only by one run in the ninth inning. So it was pretty suspenseful. It was a good game in the fact that it was suspenseful. There's definitely a lot of back and forth. There's a home run. Suburban got a autographed baseball by one of the younger rising players. So, guy by the name of Troy, and he also got this little helmet, the little plastic batter's helmet. That's what his popcorn came in. The people at the concessions hooked him up with that. They usually have just a handful of those that they give to like some of the kids that show up earliest to the concessions. So they hand out a couple of those, and he was lucky to get one of those. I tried to get him a baseball bat, but yeah, couldn't get him a bat. At least not this time. Maybe next time. Who knows? It would have been nuts to get a bat. But my cousin on my dad's sister's son. So my cousin Nick Neidert used to play for the Jumbo Shrimps about 5 years ago, roughly about 4 or 5 years ago, when he was attached to the Marlins, and he had a couple of major league appearances as a pitcher for the Marlins, and then he got traded to the Cubs. He started with Seattle, and then the Marlins picked him up. So, and then he went to the Cubs and played a little bit with the Cubs. Had a couple of major league appearances there, not many. And then his injuries, he had a couple of injuries, a couple of issues, and the way the Major League Baseball league has gotten, just there's been a lot of changes, a lot of issues with the umpires, a lot of issues with the players not happy about all these funky rules that they've put in place now for the game. A lot of players argue that it's no longer really baseball as they know it, as they grew up with, as I grew up with. So there's a lot of players irritated by that, and my cousin just figured his time was done. He was ready to move on. Got married and has a little one, has an infant. So best luck to him. He's got money set aside. He was not one of those players that squandered away his earnings, his high earnings as a baseball player. He saved and pinched just as many pennies out of it as possible. Kind of playing as a minor league baseball player during COVID sort of helped him not spend his money, because during those handful of years, it was rather difficult for the baseball players to spend their money because the teams wouldn't let them go anywhere or do anything because they're under such heavy quarantine type restrictions when they were going through those handful, the 2.5, 3 years, pretty much 3 seasons of baseball. So that kind of helped him save his money. So he's going to school. He's got his family. He's a young family. That I've never met his wife or their newborn yet. Hopefully one of these days I'll get around to seeing them. It'd be good to see them. I was kind of hoping. That's why I was hoping to get a baseball bat from because when I went and saw him play and took my older 2 kids to see him play when he was with the Jumbo Shrimps, he signed a handful of balls for us, and he signed a ball cap, a Jumbo Shrimp baseball cap. So that's what I got from him. So it would have been hilarious to be able to take a photo with me and the kids at the ball club, at the ballpark, with a signed bat, and just send that to him and be like, dude, Nick, they hooked me up with a bat. Why didn't you? Because he was probably, when he was with that team, he was probably he wasn't a senior player, but he was one of the bigger players. He won quite a number of awards, pitching awards and team awards, and everything. So he was a pretty darn good pitcher. I mean, to make it to the major leagues and play in a good handful of games in the major leagues as a pitcher, that's some fierce competition. As a pitcher, that's fierce competition. So yeah, so he had a good run. He did really well for himself. I never was going to make it that far. One, because I didn't quite have the support, the family support thrown, and the financial support thrown at me to do baseball like that. Because, like, he had, when he was a kid, when he was in middle school and high school ages, his teens, I mean, he had a batting coach, he had a pitching coach. He did it on a lot of. He had a lot of help, a lot of work, a lot of people working with him to get him really good. I didn't quite have that because my dad was not really that big of a sports guy, and my mom, she was like, I don't want him getting hurt. So I didn't get quite the support that my cousin got, and that's okay. I mean, like, I love baseball, but like, I didn't want to work at it like that. I didn't want it to be a job. I didn't want it to be a profession. I felt like if you get to a point where you put so much work in to where it feels like it's a job, and it loses the fun factor. It loses the joy factor, for me at least. So I had absolutely zero intentions of trying to go into even the minors. Wasn't even a big deal to me to go to college as a baseball player, as a pitcher, but that's all right. And then I screwed up my shoulder a bunch, rock climbing, injured it, popped it out of its socket. I dislocated it mountain biking one time, and how I forget what I did the third time, but three or four times over, I had 3 full-blown dislocations, but then I think I injured it a 4th time. And like, just my pitching capabilities, my skill was at a stop. I wasn't getting any better. I wasn't able to get any better. So I played a little bit in high school, and that was kind of it. But that's all right. That's why I went into the military and went that route, and you guys pretty much know the rest. But what's up, Ed? Hey, Dang Ross, how are you? So to get away from baseball, we'll leave that be because I don't know if any of y'all even care about baseball. What's up, Joseph? I saw you sneak in here. Yeah. So 7 more days to Blade Show. I'm actually leaving next Wednesday. Hey, sharp guy. Yeah, I got Bucky here. I don't have any beaver nuggets with me. Hellcat, man, hey, he's doing all the wizard stuff. Yeah, I am not going to wizard out at Blade Show. Sorry, I know that would give some of y'all a bunch of joy to see me dressed up at Blade Show like that. Um, I'm not doing that mainly for 2 reasons. One being that was a special kind of almost a one-time deal for to have fun with my daughter and make that weekend with her a little more entertaining and special, more of a positive memory. And two, because I'm not into dressing up like that. I'm not into cosplay at all. That's really not my thing. Not my thing at all. So the other thing is I still think it's a little weird. I think it's a little batty. People would think that as much of a nut job as I already am. They'd probably think I'm even bigger nut job if I wore that at Blade Show. I know some of y'all think that would be epic, but no, I'm not all about that. And two, the second reason is I'm riding the motorcycle up there, and I'm already bringing enough crap as it is. I don't need to bring. I'm not hauling costumes on top of everything else that I'm dragging up there with me for a full 4 days. It wasn't that big of a deal bringing it with me to the Renaissance Fair festival thing because it was just a one night. I just camped one night at the state park there and spent Saturday there. Then I drove straight home Saturday. So I only clothing wise, packing wise, it was a very minimalistic trip as far as what I needed to bring in order to do that wizard weekend of fun. That was a very, very short trip and very, very minimal required items to bring. Whereas Blade Show, I'm leaving Wednesday evening, camping at the same place, doing the same deal, hanging up a hammock and having a blanket and underneath the pavilion. So sadly, it looks like I was checking AccuWeather app on my phone today while I was at work sitting in the break room for a couple minutes while it was like literally just dead out on the floor. Like the store was super quiet for a Friday morning. It's fairly quiet as it is, but this morning, I don't know if it's because everybody spent all their money last weekend with Memorial Day when all the deals were happening, that we just did not have very many customers in the store this morning. Started to pick up at around noon, but I was out of there by 12:30 today. So I got to avoid the stress of dealing with an overflow of customers and incompetent coworkers that usually just keep asking me to help because they don't know answers to shit. So yeah, I looked at the weather and I'm going to probably get wet again on my way up there, and that sucks. Oh, that sucks. I'm not looking forward to that. I need to go through my camping gear and drag out the poncho, or not poncho, the full-blown rain suit that I have. I threw it in there somewhere in the garage, so I've got to go search for that and drag that out and hope that wearing that will keep me way drier than than the miserable state that I was in that last weekend. Marisol, good to see you, by the way. But no, so I am not. That was for actual Blade show up in Atlanta. I camped at a state park that was right there in Atlanta. Well, over down the road past Six Flags, the Six Flags roller coaster park. It's a state park that's about, with no traffic, it's about a 27-minute ride on the motorcycle, 25 to 27 minutes from the Cobb Galleria Center where Blade Show's at to the campground. So that really wasn't bad in my mind, as far as the fact that it was less than 30 minutes. I was like, and that not that many miles away on the motorcycle, that's not a big deal. But with traffic, Atlanta traffic in the mornings, and I knew that the traffic was going to be a factor in the mornings, but with that traffic, it ended up being like a 35 to 40-minute ride from the campground to Blade Show, at least on Friday, being a work day for a lot of people. And Saturday it got a little easier, and Sunday it was easier, but Friday morning sucked, especially when I was leaving for Blade Show at like 8 o'clock in the morning, to get there nice and early and get in the early bird line and not be at the tail end of it. So no, I am not going to camp there again yet. And on Doom's defense, for why he did not last, and he lasted more than a half hour. He slept the first night. Our ride up there on that Thursday morning, Doom had flown back home to his place down in Florida, which is 3.5 hours south of me. So 3.5 hours more of a trip for him than it was for me, and it's 5.5 hours from my place to the Galleria Center. So that's 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8.5, 9 hours. That's 9 hours of travel time on a motorcycle for Beard of Doom. Plus, he had flown in like a less than 24 hours before, having to get up at the crack of like before dawn for him. He less than 24 hours prior to that, he had just flown back from, where was he? He was like in the Keys or something with his family for their little vacation thing that they were doing. He had originally not planned to go to Blade Show, but like me and a handful of other people like talked to him, probably mainly Stevie and maybe myself, kept bugging him about it. We kept bugging him about it. Like, dude, you got to go to Blade Show. We can ride the bikes up together, and it'll, if finances are tight, you can camp with me. Just get a $20 tent off of Amazon, and he already had a sleeping bag and flashlight, like that kind of stuff. But yeah, so like it took I did some hard convincing, and I'm sure Stevie helped me out quite a bit with that too, if I remember right. I think he did. But we convinced Doom to go last year, and he pulled together his finances and was able to do it, and we had a freaking blast. Dopey helped too. Dopey was, reeling for him. Like, Dopey set him and myself up with the invite tickets to get on the list to the Kaiser dinner for their 10-year anniversary, which was freaking awesome last year. I don't think they're doing an anniversary dinner again this year. I've not heard anything. I'd be surprised if they just did their 10-year. Why would they do an 11-year? It doesn't really make sense. But But yeah, so I mean, it was great. But so considering the fact of the way Doom's vacation rush back, and then less than 20, roughly 20 to 24 hours, he's had got to get on the motorcycle with all this stuff packed to go to Blade Show, riding on the bike for 9 hours on a early ass Thursday morning. Um, that takes a lot out of anybody. Uh, and when you're on the motorcycle and you're doing a trip more than 2.5 to 3 hours, if you don't stop and hydrate and stretch your legs often enough, it just drains every bit of energy, and you get dehydrated, and you just end up feeling miserable. And Friday night was probably the warmest night out of those 3 or 4 nights. And like, he's a big guy who loves his air conditioning. And he's not that big of a camper. Tenting is not his cup of tea per se, but he was a good sport. He was absolutely willing to try it, and he did one night of it, so I applaud him for that. And I guess he just did not uh, get enough sleep that night. Was not comfortable enough to get some good rest, and just felt shitty in the morning. And so he found himself shacking up in the Airbnb with Stevie and Forrest and Snuz and them. Um, so for the rest of the Blade Show ordeal, and I continued to camp in my campsite because it was already paid for, and I didn't really, there was not enough room for me to, nor was I willing to forego the cost of the campground and then add on the cost of a hotel room somewhere. So, but this year I'm not camping. This year I'm staying at a hotel. I did that for the main reason of hope trying to stay away from running into the problem that Doom had and not getting enough sleep and the whole dehydration thing and just the exhaustion of riding the bike back and forth uh, every day. Just that's over an hour's worth of time that I don't get to go eat breakfast with a group of fellas or be at the show. uh, that's an hour, almost half an hour of sleep that I'm foregoing by having to make that travel time from that campground to the show. And there's not a campground place anywhere closer that I can stay at. There's not. It's just all hotels. So yeah, so I'll be at a hotel. I'll be at a hotel. A hotel that is not even a mile away from the Galleria Center, and that's what the skateboard's for. It's in the corner of my bedroom with my new motorcycle helmet, just ready to go, ready to rock and roll. So that'll be that'll make it interesting, skateboarding from the hotel to the show. And yeah, I'm excited. So I leave next Wednesday evening, and where I'm camping is about halfway up there. Well, slightly more than halfway up there. I'm gonna stay at a place in Macon, Georgia, which is kind of in the middle of Georgia, and it's about a little more than slightly more than halfway up to Atlanta from where I live, down here at the bottom end of Georgia. So I'll leave home Wednesday evening and head up there, sleep in the hammock, and then be up early and get up to Atlanta. The goal is by 10 o'clock. Probably will catch Stevie and Sharif and them for maybe if they end up having a late breakfast, having more of a brunch. Otherwise, I'll see them for a lunch, and then after that, we'll go to I'll head over to the Galleria Center and get my wristband, so that I have that, and then it'll be all game on for Friday. We'll meet up with some more people. I'm excited that I'm actually really, really excited that G-Ball is going to be there. Greg is going to be a Blade Show this year. He was able to pull some last minute strings together, I suppose. However he did it, he managed to do it. So he's going to be there. He's going to be with us. And that is super, super sweet. I'm very, very, very happy that I'm going to get to hang out with him, meet up with him. And that'll be fun. Greg's a cool guy. So, no Matisfaction, but at least I got G-Ball. Matisfaction's the one guy that I, after getting to hang out with G-Ball and meeting G-Ball in person, Maddie's the other guy that out of the big, famous YouTubers in our community, he's the only other guy that I've yet to meet in person that I'm itching to. And then I'm hoping that some of you guys, like LCAP and BNA, Brand New American, and Dang Ross, Neil maybe, and some of y'all got to get to Blade Show next year. Y'all need to figure out how to save up money for going next year. Todd Carr is actually he's going to possibly make an effort to go to Blade Show next year as well. Come down all the way from Canada. So that would be sweet. Of course, Ed, not you, Ed, but not the other Ed, but Ed Harrison, who lives in Georgia here. He'll be there this year. He's always a blast to hang out with. Such an awesome dude. His energy matches mine pretty good. He and I are both, like, last year when we finally ran into each other on Saturday, it was like, Ed, and he was like, Armin, and we were like, yeah, sweet, what's up? So that was cool. That was really cool. Like, when he and I ran into each other and just our energies just boom, we were at the same level as each other, and that was really cool. That was really cool. He is such a neat guy. He's such a fun dude, and I love his energy. Like, I like to think that his energy is my energy, and our energy is the same as each other or close to it. But yeah, he's just like I was told by many, I was grinning from ear to ear the whole fucking time. I was just so stoked about being there, about seeing everybody, and looking at not all the cool knives, just soaking it all in, and it made me so happy. And Ed was like that from the minute that I saw him. Like, it was like looking at a mirror as far as energy and excitement goes, and that was just really, really cool for me. Yeah, so can't wait to do that again with Ed. Javon will be there. I'm pretty positive Javon's gonna be there, or John is his actual name. So I'll get to see him. Yep, he's itching to see my skateboard in person. He and I had a fun conversation, and he bounced around. Sent me a handful of pictures of a good chunk of his skateboard collection. He's got some sweet skateboards. He's got some awesome ass skateboards. So, yeah, he asked me if I was considered making more of those skateboards and selling them. Like, he thought he was adamant about the fact that I did such a nice job that he felt that I could possibly make some good money doing that. And I was like, dude, skateboarding is really not my thing. I suck at it. And yeah, as fun of a little project as that was, I just I don't see myself and would not enjoy making many of them, and I don't see the profit. I just for what it cost me, because I basically had to buy a very inexpensive $30, almost $30 skateboard just to get the wheel and trucks, and then it's, luckily I had the the board, uh, the nice birch plywood sheet. I already had already purchased that many moons ago. Um, so I already had the wood, so I didn't have that upfront expense with it. But yeah, I don't see myself. I don't see those boards. If I made more of those, I don't see people buying them for 50, $60. I just don't. I might get 40 for it if I'm lucky. And that would be without getting the CNC engraving logos or stuff on it. I'd have to. Yeah, I don't see making money off of doing that. The most expensive part of a skateboard is the wheels on the trucks. Um, so and that's the part that I'm buying, not directly. So I'm paying a slight premium for those parts. So it's not good. It's not a way for me to make money, extra cash. I wish it was, but it's not. Um, I did get some things in the mail, including quick story time. Quick story time. The wife Wednesday night, the wife, after she got off of work, she drove up to Savannah, which is about an hour and 15 minutes from us. She drove up to Savannah to do a CPR requalification for her job for work, and for congratulations to Mrs. Urban. Mrs. Urban passed her exam to make it back into nursing school to get her RN. She's been an LPN for about 6 years now. She graduated the LPN program uh, when she was pregnant with Suburban. So yeah, that was a feat in itself, and everybody was extremely proud of her for that accomplishment. So now she went and she damn near aced, like blew it out of the water. Like 94, I think, is what she got on her exam to get into the nursing program for her RN certification. So she got accepted to the school for the summer program, the bridging program that they call it, that kind of helps knock out almost basically 2 semesters worth of schooling gets done in one short summer semester. So she's got her work cut out for her, but I know she can do it. So she's going to be get her RN. It'll take her pretty much a year to do that instead of 2 years. So that'll be awesome that she gets to get her RN, get paid more, and more job opportunities, get away from taking care of old people that are falling apart, like maybe perhaps a president that we currently have that's old and falling apart. Not to get into politics, but it's kind of hard not to acknowledge that. But so she was up there getting her CPR certification on Wednesday night after work, and she calls me at about 9:30 at night, and I'm home with the kids after my day at work, and she calls me, and her freaking car won't start up again. She's stuck. She was stranded up in Savannah, about an hour and 15 minutes from home, because the alternator in her Honda Pilot gave out, and it depleted her battery down to 40%. So luckily, hopefully that'll charge up just fine. But so that I purchased a new alternator for her vehicle off of Amazon for 115 bucks. And that arrived today, and we went ahead and got the starter. Hopefully the starter won't also need to be replaced, but it's a good possibility that the starter went bad too. That's another $130, $140. But yeah, so she's got, and I've got a mechanic that's a friend of ours that he's going to come by tomorrow morning. Well, the middle of the day, lunchtime tomorrow. He can't get over here in the morning as much as I wish we could do it in the morning when it's cooler, but he can't make it over here that early. So I'll see him somewhere around noon, and I'll just have everything out and ready to go, and some, fans blowing on us, and kind of pull it halfway into the garage, and so that it's as cool as possible. And he's going to help me do that because I kind of sort of don't really know what I'm doing. I watched a YouTube video as far as how to swap out the alternator in this damn car, and thank you, Honda. Honda is not great at making things easy to get to under the hood. They're very, very well built cars, very reliable cars. This thing is a 2013. It's got almost 210,000 miles. 210,000 miles, right, honey? Mrs. Urban is in the chat. So, yeah, aren't you close to 210,000 miles? Just quite a number of miles, but with replacing the alternator, possibly the starter, and she's got like 4 other things that have worn out. Dang, Ross, 10 millimeters can strip the car. Not quite. But no, so in order to get in this particular vehicle, in order to get the alternator swapped out, we've got to take apart, we've got to remove and get out of the way like 4 different other things. and it's not in a very convenient location. Physically, it's like down underneath the one side of the engine block. And no, it's really kind of like right there where it wouldn't be easier to lift the vehicle up and get to it and do it from the underside. It's really kind of like right in the middle where it's just as easy getting to it from the top as it is getting to it from underneath. Yeah, that is not true, Dang Ross. That is not true. That is not true. I need like a 10 millimeter, a 12, and a 14. I think maybe even an 18 for one of the bolts. Because it's like 5 different parts that got to be taken off in order to do it. So yeah, no. I wish it was. I wish it was that simple. I watched actually the first video I watched on swapping out an alternator was it was a Toyota. I believe it was a Toyota Tacoma pickup truck, an older one probably from the early 2000s. And it was like all the space in the world underneath the hood of this pickup truck to get to the alternator, and it was literally just moving the one of the fluid reservoirs out of the way, which was just like one screw and unclipping, and then just like setting it off to the side. And then he had full access to the alternator, and it was just 3 bolts. 3 bolts to remove, pop it off, brush off any rust or corrosion or dirt, whatever, on the spots where the screws, where the pieces marry up with the bolts, and then just clean up the bolts and drop them back in, and then put the reservoir back. I think it was like his cooling reservoir. But anyways, like with that particular pickup truck, it was a piece of cake. He made it. It was so damn easy to get to it and to do it, like less than 30 minutes, and he was done swapping out his alternator in this pickup truck. This Honda Pilot is way far from that being that simple. Way far from. So when I got to Mrs. Urban, it was like freaking 11 o'clock at night, and I'm looking it over and making sure that it's just just double checking and doing my own diagnosis of what's going on with the vehicle, just so that I have a better idea of what's going on, rather 100% relying on my wife, who was freaking out and pissed off and just overwhelmed by it, because they like this is the last thing she needed to happen in a place that was so inconvenient at a time that was like a terrible time, late at night. It was just all over a bad situation, and she was emotionally overwhelmed with that, and so I was getting blasted with all of those emotions. And so I was just like, let me take a look at it. So I hooked it up to a charger for a little bit and jump started it and off of my car, and yeah, sure enough, it wouldn't run for more than 3 or 4 minutes, and then like on the dash, all the lights flickered and went bonkers and everything, and the motor strained, and then it died. It was about to die, so I just turned the key, cut it off. So yeah, so hopefully we find out that it is just the alternator and she can return the starter. Although we might hang on to this. I think the smarter thing to do would be just to hang on to the starter, and when she takes it to the shop to get all the other things repaired on it, because there's things that I don't quite have the tools, and it would be far easier to do it by lifting the vehicle up, and I'm no mechanic shop here at my house. So yeah, it's going to have to be done by somebody else at a legitimate shop. So when she gets that arranged and that done, she's going to have them take a good look at the starter and make their judgment as far as whether or not they think it needs to be replaced. They will probably, most likely, regardless of its condition, say yes, we should go ahead and replace it. And kind of with the age of the vehicle and how many miles are on it, and the fact that the alternator went, if the starter's close to being bad and you've already bought it a new one, just go ahead and get it done. So we'll probably just have them put the new starter in there too, and that shouldn't get the vehicle into proper working order to go another, hopefully 70 to 85,000 miles. We get 300,000 miles out of this Honda Pilot. We should. There's no reason why it's not capable of doing that, being a Honda and taking care of it the way that we do. So, yep, absolutely right. I gotta take care of my sugar mama. No doubt. Dang, Ross, you and your 10 millimeter wrench socket. You're too funny, man. But yeah, so that happened Wednesday night. Had to get the vehicle towed, which is $400. $400 to have the vehicle towed an hour and 10 minutes away, which is ouch. But the insurance company should. There's no reason why they won't reimburse my wife for that. But yeah, so The car got back here Thursday morning. So she had to take my car to go to work yesterday and today and tomorrow until we get the car fixed. So I've been, solely relying on the motorcycle for my transportation and not being able to take the kids anywhere during the day when she's at work because she's got my car and her car is out of commission. So we got to get that damn Pilot fixed Saturday so I can have my damn car back because I don't like not having my car. I love riding the bike, but I can't take 3 kids with me places on the bike. At least not in Georgia. Might be able to pull that off in some other countries where they pile on like 5 families onto a moped, but no, can't do that. Not doing that on my motorcycle. Not me. No siree. But so along with ordering parts for her car, I've also been ordering a few other things to get ready for Blade Show. As y'all know, I got the new helmet, and I got some new boots that I'm currently trying to stretch out and wear in as much and as fast as possible. So I got some new Western boots, cowboy boots from Ariat. It was time to it's close to time to retire one of my other pairs. I think I might be able to get through one more winter with the other pair that I have that's all black, that doesn't have the fancy stitching. Yeah, I have a pair of work boots, cowboy boots that that I wear to work, and the leather toe is all scratched and scuffed up and everything on them. So, and then I have my other nice ones that are like this, that are all brown, your standard brown. This is actually, what do they call this? This is like black deer tanned or something or another. I forget what Ariat called them. Let me look it up because it'll drive me, if you know me, it'll drive me nuts not remembering. Like, I have to look it up. I have to. Otherwise, it drives me crazy. They call this color... Well, damn it. It doesn't say it in my email. I have to click on it and go to their website. Oh, shit. Yeah, black deer tan. Black deer tan. So the bottom part of the boot is black, and then this is a deer tan that's like a super, super dark brown. So very, very dark brown. The color contrast between these two are not very much. But if you didn't know, which you should, because you should know your own feet, but every person's feet are different in size. Like, your left foot and your right foot are not exactly 100% the same size. Some people are bad enough to where they have to, like, their left foot is a size 11 and their right foot is a size 12. And they literally have to constantly buy 2 pairs of shoes in order to be comfortable. Or they have to find somebody to, a shoe person, whatever you call them people, to modify, stretch, and or shrink their footwear. Luckily, I'm not that bad. But with new pairs of boots, I have my left foot is just a hair bit bigger, particularly my left big toe is the one that is a little fat. I have a fat left toe. It's a little too big, and so there's less wiggle room for it in my boots until I break in the boots and get a little more space out of them. So I've got 2 pairs of I got 1 pair of medium weight and then 1 pair of thick boot socks on And that's kind of the best way everybody says to break in and stretch out a new pair of Western boots is to just wear a couple of pairs of thicker socks and just keep walking around the house and wiggling your toes and everything to try to stretch them out and break them in. But I ordered these straps, and these straps also came in. So I've got new boots, I've got new helmet, I've got new tie down straps for my bags, and these are the Sea to Summit ones I have. Where did I put here's the thingy. Have any of y'all ever used these Sea to Summit quick hook release straps, tie down straps? I absolutely love these things. I've not done a video on because I don't really see the point in doing a full-blown video on them. But you see how the buckles are that quick release and allows you to just slide that loop in and out once it's loose, and then you just crank them down, tighten them up. So I have some of these that are the thicker. This is only the 1.5 millimeter, which is very thin. See how thin those are? Yeah, very thin. They're only rated to, what are they rated to? They're the 3/8 of an inch wide, and yeah, rated in excess of 220 pounds, which is nuts. I will not be having to crank down 200 pounds onto these things for my luggage on the motorcycle. No, I did not pick a dress. I do have some outfits. Last year I felt a little underdressed at times because I was pretty much in my blue jeans and t-shirts. I had one shirt that was a buttoned down collared shirt that I wore to the Kaiser dinner. No, what did I wear to the Kaiser dinner? I don't remember what I wore to the Kaiser. I hope I wore the nicer shirt that I have. I don't know. I'd have to look at my photos. But anyways, I'll do that later. So yeah, I am packing a few nicer shirts, and since I'll be staying in a hotel, I'll be able to clean myself up a little more spiffy than last year, since last year I was camping at a campground. It's always easier to stay fresh staying in a hotel than it is in a campground. Not that I was showing up to Blade shows, filthy or smelling like a pig. I didn't hear anybody complain. There were plenty of people at Blade Show who smelled way worse and looked in way worse shape than me. I was not one of them. But yeah, so these Sea to Summit straps. I went for the skinnier ones than the other pairs that I have are twice the width, and almost half the length. I think these are 60, and I think the other ones were 40. That I have, the 4 that I have are 40 millimeters long, and these are 60. And the 40 is not quite enough for me to loop around both sides of the frame of the saddlebags that are attached to, and loop through my my baggage bag. So with these being 60, they should make it all the way around, and that way I only have to use 2 of these, one on each side of the bike rather than 4 of them. That'll be nice for the sake of the fact that it'll just be all that much easier to cinch everything down and then take everything off by having to use only 2 rather than 4. So that's great that those came in. I absolutely love those. If you've not used those Sea to Summit quick release tie down straps, they're freaking awesome. 5 stars from me. What else do I have? Oh, I have a new pair of shoes coming in as well. Those are supposed to get here tomorrow. They'll arrive tomorrow. I ordered one pair. If you're into backpacking or hiking, or just outdoor, doing a lot of outdoor walking, the new shoe company on the block that is totally geared towards that is a shoe company called Topo Athletic. Topo Athletic. And they are supposedly, through all your big timer backpacker, hiker, YouTubers, they are this company, this particular shoe company is like off the chain these days, above and beyond, doing more than all the major competitors that have kind of like the Salomons. And I've got a pair of Salomon trail runners. I love them, but I just wish the toe box area was a little more wider. They're a very rather narrow shoe altogether, and where the arch of my foot and the heel of my foot is on the narrower side, and greatly benefits from a shoe being narrower in that area, so that I don't end up with blisters on my heels. The toe box is also narrow on those shoes, and so your finger toe style socks is kind of the key. As I've got to wear those. I've got to put on the finger toe socks as my base layer sock, and then my hiking sock over that. Otherwise, I end up with blisters between my toes. And those, if you've not experienced those, they are pretty much like more unbearable, more painful, more irritating, far more irritating than a heel blister. Let me go ahead and share. But if you want some seriously comfortable shoes for outdoor use, or just even just for heavy walking, this company right here, Topo Athletic. Here's the men's collection. We'll go to the shoes. There we go. So I first ordered a pair of these, the Trail Venture 2s, because they're a mid height boot style shoe, and it's an editor's choice by REI, which is a big outdoor recreation retailer. So I ordered those with everybody saying that these are great summertime hiking shoes / boots, because they're mid height. They could give you all your ankle support, and they're fairly lightweight. So I ordered those, and when they got here, I tried them on, and I liked them. I liked the size was right, ordering size 12 for my feet. I kind of sit there right in between 11 and a half and a 12, so I end up getting 12s for just about everything. And yeah, they were very comfortable. They were very nice, lightweight. Quality was all there. Looked really good, stitching and everything. But they were warm. Like, I wore them around the house for maybe 10 minutes, and I was like, holy shit, my feet are about to sweat in these things. And I'm like, that's not going to happen during the summertime. I am not wearing a shoe like that during the summertime. No. So, and I was surprised. I did get the waterproof ones, which is what the WP stands for right there. So that does create some amount of heat retention, getting the waterproof treated ones, because the fabric stitching's all that much tighter, and then it's got special coating put into the fabric to make them waterproof. So then they're not as breathable as the non-waterproof ones, but still, like, it was unbearable. Like, after 10 minutes, my feet were starting to sweat. I was like, this is not going to work. So I returned them, and I did some more research, and the Pursuit 2s right here look really good. I can't stand the loops on the back of the heels like this Traverse. I cannot stand those loops, although that is a good looking shoe. Those loops bother me. They constantly cause your pants to ride up, and they're on the back of your leg and not covering your shoe the way they're like a pair of pants are supposed to. So I went with these. I went with these Run Venture, not the yellow one. I went with the other color, that color, which is like a dark burgundy reddish color. Yeah, so I went with ordered these, so they get here tomorrow. So I'm gonna check those out. They're not waterproof, which kind of sucks, but the compromise there for increased breathability. When you're not ordering a mid top or a high top boot style shoe, getting the waterproof version is almost wasting your money, throwing your money away, because if it's not coming up past your ankles, then you're probably going to get water in it anyways. So yeah, so I ordered these, and I'll know for a fact tomorrow after I wear them for about 10 to 15 minutes, do a little bit of walking around, whether or not I like them. But yeah, and if you let me see if I can get a photo that gives you the top view. Here we go. Check that out. So look how wide. I mean, they kind of look a little silly. They do, like straight up having a wide toe box. But I mean, ideally, that's what's going to be the most comfortable. That's what's going to ensure that you don't get blisters between your toes. That gives you more breathing room and stretch room for your toes. Like, that's just, even though they look goofy, and if you wear a big shoe, size 12 or bigger, you end up kind of having clown feet. That's the downside of that. But you know, comfort over looks, right? We preach that to ourselves with our knives, don't we? So why wouldn't we have the same approach to things like footwear? So I will be wearing my Western boots up there and pack those shoes with me for wearing either at the show or at least after the show. But the idea is that I'm not wearing one or the other for 2 whole days straight. That I'm changing it up. So yeah. No new knives. Again, you know, trying to not get any new knives right before Blade Show. So many companies are making it difficult as hell to not do that. Like if we go to White Mountain Knives right now, go to the new. Leave me alone. Quit bothering me. This thing looks really, really intriguing. That guy. The Swordfish folding knife. It's a gravity fed knife. I'm pretty positive. But that thing looks wicked. I'd love to check that out. They got quite a number of color schemes. Lots of different carbon fiber inlays on it. What was the other one? What steel is this Tucson? Oh, it's a 14C. What are the blade lengths on those? This looks like a nice kitchen knife, to be honest. Nylon fiberglass handles. that kind of sucks. I'd love to swap those out for some micarta. But the 14C blade steel, 6062 HRC, blade length is 8 inches. That's a nice full-size kitchen knife right there by Tucson. Whew. Throw some G10 or micarta, preferably micarta scales onto that. Or no, actually what would be most ideal is Richlite, because Richlite is antimicrobial. I'll never forget that when I first learned that back when the Kaiser not the sheepdog, what's the other one? Oh, I forget the name of it off the top of my head. But one of the popular Kaisers with the sheep's footy cleaver-esque blade shape. Hold on, I gotta look it up because otherwise it's gonna bother me. The Towser K, that's what it was. The Towser K. Yeah. And the Towser K is the only folder that I have. I think it's the only knife that I have that has Richlite on it. And they were really smart, and it looks really slick with that honeycomb shaped pattern on it. The one that I have is in blue. Is the blue Richlite, which looks even more sick than this burgundy-ish. Isn't that like kind of like a red? Whatever. Chocolate. It's chocolate. Sorry. I'm colorblind, remember? Colorblind. It's terrible. Get it from my mother. Love her. Love her so damn much because she gave me her colorblindness. Don't you just love it when your moms are the cause of your color vision? Yeah, so that's a chocolate. I've got the blue. The blue looks way better, I think. But yeah, that's Richlite, and it's reading up on it. I found out that it's antimicrobial, and it's like that's a perfect material for kitchen knives.
How much money?
I don't know. Maybe another 20, 30 minutes.
20?
Yeah, go away.
Okay.
Shoot. Kids. They need to go back to school. Right? There it is. There's the blue one. That's the one that I have. Isn't that blue pretty? I like the blue. But yeah, perfect handle material for kitchen knives, being antimicrobial and grippy like micarta is. I think all kitchen knives should be made with handles out of that from now on. Period. Let's go back to our new.
Can I have a pickle?
Yeah, you can have a pickle. Go. Picklehead.
I don't say black or black.
Maddie would love this beautiful trailing point from Kubi. Scimitar. The Scimitar. It's bead blasted though. I hate bead blasted blades. It's a terrible finish to put on a blade. There's the Kubi Pike. That's a solid knife. It's got that Tiger Flame titanium handle. Pretty slick. Oh, I hate how their website does that. What's the other one that came out recently that I was interested in? Somebody returned a Kershaw Blur. I hadn't seen a Kershaw Blur in years. They got some more Hender XM18s. Poorly heat treated, I'm sure. Oh, gotta love the drama that's surrounded by that. They got some more mini nightshades in stock. It's a cool little knife. Not my cup of tea though. I don't really care so much for the blade shape on those. I can see them being a very useful blade shape, especially with the tip being at the angle that it is for like opening packages and stuff. Oh, this Vosteed Acorn. You know, when I first saw the Vosteed Acorn, and y'all tell me whether I'm right or wrong. Well, here it is. Let me blow it up even more. Can I make it a little bigger? How's that for y'all? Okay. So, without making me any smaller. No. All right. Does this kind of sort of, I mean, obviously different blade shape. Obviously a different blade shape. But the handle is where I was like, because it's not that big of a knife. What's the blade length? It's 2.93, so just a little under 3-inch blade. But this knife, the Vosteed Acorn, made me think of the answer to better ergos than the f5.5, and that's what Grumpy hates, is the ergos of this one. That's what he dislikes the most about it. The ergos does not work for his hand. He just doesn't like the ergos on this knife for his size hands. So when I saw this Vosteed Acorn, I immediately thought, wow, the more rounded out edges in the profile of the handle, and the fact that the handle scales themselves are contoured. They're contoured. Like if that handle was on the f5.5, Grumpy might actually like it. Like, I'm willing to bet that if you could swap the blade from the f5.5 onto that Vosteed Acorn, that Grumpy would like it. Grumpy would like it. I don't know. What do y'all think? Am I too far off on that one, or do you see it? I don't know why he dislikes the ergos in the overall of this knife. I think the f.5 5.5 is a great folder, solid EDC size, and the ergos obviously aren't fantastic, but they're not bad. Like, they're usable, but I guess if you have much bigger hands than a size large glove that I wear, if you have a size large, if you wear a size large glove or a size medium glove, then there's nothing wrong with this knife. But if you have much bigger hands than I do, I can see where there's just not enough. There's just not enough retail space for when you choke up. It's kind of close. It really is. Even with my size hands. But if you've got monster mitts, there's not enough for you to choke up. I can understand that. But I think that this might be, in fact, when I see Grumpy at Blade Show, I'm going to drag him to... Oh, you have one, Kevin? You have one of these? You like it? Is it just okay, ergos? Are you talking about the f5.5 or this Vosteed Acorn? Let me know which one are you talking about. I got this guy pretty much when was it Urban EDC popped them out. I ordered one because I absolutely love the blade shape, and the size is a great EDC size. You got the Acorn? Okay. Hey, there's brand new. Talking about you earlier, bud. About how much I wish you could have made it to Blade Show this year, and super hope that you make it next year. But yeah, okay. So you like are the ergos? I don't know if you've got the F5.5, but are the ergos pretty darn good with the Acorn? I just don't like the blade shape on the Acorn. Let me go back to presenting that. I mean, it's not a bad blade shape, but I think when you get into the sub 3-inch blades, I want that tip down further. It's got to be below, either at or for sure below the pivot screw. It's got to be below the pivot. Otherwise, with it being that short of a blade and a short handle, like trying to open packages, you're just having to strain your wrist too much. I don't like having to strain my wrist too much. I know that's getting picky. And it's not like I can't do it. It's just I prefer to have that tip lower. And I don't know about y'all. Oh, you used to have an F5.5 and you like the 5.5 better? Even the handle ergos? Because that's where I thought that the Acorn had the F5.5 beat, was with the ergos of the handle. But I love this. I love the F5.5. And I honestly, when I'm just opening boxes with tape, boxes, not packages, but boxes, this is the grip that I like to do. I don't know if anybody else does this, but I like to put my thumb on the side of the blade, on the grind of the blade, like so, and grip it around like this. For this size knife, that's kind of my go-to. I don't do this. I don't like doing this. I like doing this. And I go, and that way I have so much control over the tip and the drag, and I'm kind of using the blade as my control gripping point with my thumb up against it like that, and I can just totally direct the tip of that blade and make insanely good precision cuts on the tape, on the boxes, without going the risk of puncturing anything that's in the box. So if I know that there's something in the box that I absolutely do not want to hit, like today, I was doing boxes of your metal outlets for outdoor outlets, recessed boxes, your metal boxes for doing outdoor outlets or basements or that kind of stuff. Those type of outlet boxes that are metal. I did not, you don't want to, you want to do your damnedest to make sure that your blade don't get fucked up by scraping on those boxes and cutting against those metal boxes that are inside the cardboard box. So being able to grip it like this and have your thumb up there and just super good control over the tip and how far the tip is going into the taped box. I like this better than this. I'm not a fan of this. I don't like reaching out to the tip. I mean, I do it every once in a while, and doing that pinch grip with your thumb and your finger, usually right there where the flipper hole is, and reaching out there. I mean, I've done that plenty of times, but this right here, just resting my thumb and keeping the rest of my hand back away from the blade and just having my thumb out there, so much control. To me, that's what I like to do. I might be the only weirdo that does that. I just might. Hey, I'm glad you dropped in, Kevin. I appreciate your input on that. That's interesting to hear that that you still prefer the F5.5. I like it. It's the 5.5 is a solid knife. It really is. Really love it. And the Blue Jean micarta is a pretty sick look on it too. I love how it's got that beefy spine. Along with as far as smaller blades go, and with that kind of a blade shape, a Wharncliffe sheep's foot. This is like really a sheep's foot blade. Let me stop sharing. But yeah, this sheep's foot blade. Another one that I love, and it's actually a knife that I picked up at Blade Show last year. It's a BRS Evolve series knife. And let me see. I've got it's not on that sheet. Shit, I had my little cheat sheet paper that told me what I don't know where it went. I forget the name of this knife. But this guy is a box murderer. Totally a box murderer. Anybody know the name of this knife? It's a sweet knife. I know a lot of people are not big with having this big old top front flipper deal, but I saw this, and it's in S35, I think. I want to say. I'm pretty positive it is. I don't think it says anywhere on the blade, but I'm almost damn positive that this is S35VN. But I got them for like $75, $70 or $75 at Blade Show, like a huge discount, like a $30 to $40 discount from what they sell retail wise. But yeah, and it's an S35VN, and it's an awesome steel. I very much enjoy S35. But this was kind of like last year. I had kind of, as far as the knives that I wanted to get, my purchases, as far as what I wanted to pick up, I had in my mind, I wanted something that was like higher end, super slick and sexy looking, like, checked off checking my box type deal. Yeah, so I wanted something that was sexy looking, beautiful. And I think the one that really there's this was the one that did it for me. Like elegant, sexy looking, that put a check in every box, had a blade shape that I loved. It's in S35 as well. Yeah, so again, it's in a steel that I love, and just the gorgeous anodization that it was done on the titanium scales. Like, this is just, to me, this is a sexy, dressy, gentlemanly, Wharncliffe bladed monster cutter. I just absolutely love this knife. So I wanted one that fitted that bill, and then I wanted one that was like very angular, had a lot of lines to it, and was just very retro-esque. And I wanted and it had to be an Arcane. I wanted an Arcane, and this was last year. This is still my favorite Arcane. I absolutely love this thing. It is a really, really cool knife. Really cool knife. And is it an S35VN too? I think it is. I can't. I'm pretty sure it is. Pretty sure it is. But anyways, so yeah, so that was my second category, was something that was kind of almost Doom-esque, futuristy, sharp lines, hardcore looking. So that filled that one. And then there was a particular pocket fixed blade that I really, really wanted, that I knew I wanted. And that check that box as, you know, a great EDC fixed blade, pocketing fixed blade, and that is the it's over in the other box. Actually, it's in my little man purse that I take with me just about everywhere I go. That's the El Pionero tops, the tops El Pionero with the Ulti clip on it. It is a really, really awesome everyday carry fixed blade. So that put the check in that box, and then the other thing that I really wanted was just something a little odd, just something a little off, not necessarily me 100%, but just something a little different. And this guy checked that box for me because of the way the top flipper is and the overall profile of it. Like, this was kind of just like the one-off, you know, something different from my collection, something that I don't have a lot of the same vibe. This is my something different. So that's the guy that I got. And at the price point that it was like really hard to say no. So, and then of course I scored another fixed blade made by a company called Hooten ERA. They're a bunch of fun guys, kind of doing it out of their own shop. You know, sourcing the materials for the most part USA made. But sourcing the materials to make their fixed blades. So I picked up one of their fixed blades, and that was kind of a last minute thing on Sunday that I did. Well, sort of. I actually bought that one Sunday before I bought the Arcane. Right? Didn't I get the Arcane on Sunday? I'm pretty sure I bought the No, I think the Arcane I bought Saturday evening, like before the show was over on Saturday. But anyways, so then of course I came home with an extra one, the Kaiser Veritas, which is such a stellar knife and made me freaking come to trying to wipe away tears, because it was just an emotional moment when I was able to pick this up at the Kaiser dinner as one of their giveaways, in having one of their raffle ticket numbers that got called out. So I got this guy for free. And boy, did that make me happy. Like, that just, I mean, that almost made it totally like icing on the cake for the whole trip last year. I won't be winning a knife this year. I'm pretty positive about that. But I mean, for my first year to go to Blade Show and like Kaiser 10th anniversary dinner plus win this knife, you know, $130, $140 pocket knife, like, mind blowing, right? So grateful for that. And I will absolutely never forget that evening when I scored that one. And that was pretty much my winnings. I mean, I've got a video that I put out last year, about maybe a week after Blade Show. After I got home, I put together a video showing my winnings from Blade Show. So you can watch that video if you really want. But yeah, so this year, the goal is I've got really... There's one knife that I absolutely want that it'll make Blade Show for me. Besides the fact that, you know, I get to see everybody that I get to see, like, that's really what Blade Show is about. But as far as the knives go, if I can score, damn it, it's not on here. Where did I put that paper? I don't know where I put that paper. It's the No Knives Voodoo. I want a Voodoo. I really, really want a Voodoo. And the Voodoo that's the Voodoos that have every time that No Knives on their website, anytime they dropped a handful of Voodoos, I either like didn't have the funds at the time, or as quickly as I was able to acquire the needed funds for one. They quickly ran out of stock on the color scheme materials scheme mashup that I desired. And I'm not going to spend, over $200 on a knife if I'm not 100% happy with the material and color scheme of it, of all the versions of that model of knife. I want what I want, and if I'm going to pay the higher dollars for it, I want it to be the one that I want, right? We all feel that way, or at least should feel that way. I was not going to settle for the other materials. So hopefully I can score a Voodoo. And then there's like three other three other knife companies, manufacturers, designers that I want to hit up and hopefully score one, if not two, other knives from one of them. So, yeah, I really just want 3 knives this year. If I come home with 4, I will be way more than a happy camper. But if I come home with at least 2, I'll be stoked with just 2. But there's really kind of 3, and the other 2 are not an actual model that I have my eyes or my mind set on. It's the only one knife that I have my mind and heart set on is the Knoll Knives Voodoo. The other 2 it's the company and the designers, and if they've come out with something that I really, really want and have got to have at Blade Show, then I'll try to get it. Leon Ma gave me a Trinity, all because I grabbed him a sandwich at Blade Show, Texas. I thought that was pretty cool. That is really cool. Most people have claimed that their interaction with Leon Ma has been very positive, and he's a stellar guy. I know a few people have felt differently and had different interactions with the guy, but for the most part, he's got a good heart. That's what I've gathered. I didn't go up and meet him when I saw him because, I mean, he had other people there. My big person that as far as designers and co-owners or whatever of any company, the big person that I wanted to meet, and one of the 2 reasons why I jumped on getting the early bird pass last year and was worth it to me was getting to meet and have a solid conversation with Joe Flowers. Joe Flowers, he's I've always aspirated his lifestyle and his ability to go into the jungles and just test knives and work with knives and meet cool locals in all these villages and learn history of the knives that these villagers make and get that influence to put into his own designs. Like the fact that he gets to do all that all the damn time. Oh, that's so inspiring. Yeah, I absolutely was tickled to death to have met and had some good conversation. Like, and we didn't talk for like 2 to 3 minutes. We talked for about 15 to 20 minutes. We talked a lot, crammed in quite a bit because I was like pretty much the second or third person to get over to him to get to have a conversation with him. And yeah, he and I hit it off fairly well. Hopefully he remembers me if I run into him again this year. But yeah, it was so cool to meet Joe Flowers and to get to talk to him. I had a couple of questions to ask him, and then we just enjoyed talking about larger knives and different types of machetes and what our favorites are, and thoughts on using a couple of different steels other than your 1095. But yeah, he was fun to talk to. That was like to get to be able to do that at the very beginning of the show on the first day, just like sit like I was riding a high for the rest of the fucking day. I was on such a high after that. Like, and the fact that I mean, the minute that I went in there, I went straight to the Tops booth and I got the last Tops El Pionero fixed blade that they had at the show there. It was they were gonna try to hang on to it. Um, they were gonna try to hang on to it for the sake of just showing people and having it as a display. But I showed them my tattoo that I have on my arm here. Showed them my tattoo on my arm that I have with the Tops Texas Creek XL that I have. That's this knife right here. So I showed him that tattoo and talked about how awesome that knife is and how awesome the bull trout is and how much I love Tops knives and think that they're doing amazing things and all that jazz. I really simped them like crazy. So they were like, you know what? Let's hook this dude up. So they totally hooked me up and gave me the last Tops El Pionero that they had. And that was awesome. Like to do that, to get the fixed blade that I absolutely wanted, and to get to have a good conversation with Joe Flowers, that was worth the extra $20 that the early entry fee was. And it just set me off for being on a high for the rest of the damn day. Like I was just, it was just everything. Nothing could have fucked up the day after that. Like I was just so damn happy to get those two things right off the bat. And yeah. I hope that everybody in this community gets to go to a Blade show. It doesn't have to be the Atlanta one, but a Blade show at some point within the next 3 to 5 years. I hope that every single one of y'all makes a valiant effort to go to at least one of the 3 Blade shows that happens throughout the year. You've got to. I mean, it's such a mind-blowing experience as far as what you can learn, the conversations that you can pick up on, the people that you can meet, and getting to see all these cool knives. Like just the overall experience, but mostly for the learning new stuff and getting to meet people that are like good people in our community, influencers of the knife world, as far as design goes and inspiration goes. Because it's, I mean, as much as, and that's why when I talk to people who don't know anything about pocket knives or, have the mindset of they could care less, they just want, that gas station knife is good enough for them. So when I tell them why, if I show them the knife that I'm carrying that day, and then they're like, well, that's expensive. And I said, well, it really boils down to the science in the materials, the technology and the science that's in the materials, both handle materials and the blade steel. That is just like, it's a dream that we live in the time that we live in, where it's not your grandfather's buck knife that's in 420C or 440J. The fact that we have the technology and the materials that we have for the blades, as well as our handle materials, your micarta, your G Carta, carbon fiber, all the infused carbon fibers that have the other stuff, the Raffir, like there's so much. So that's one thing, is just the science and the technology and the materials. And then two is the design part of it, just the art form, the passionate lines that people put into their designs in thinking about the ergos and the flow of the lines and where you hold the knife and the shapes of the blades and all that. That's the second piece that's just mind blowing, how much is out there. Um, and then the third thing is just having a collection, making a collection, a glorious collection. Whether your collection, the most expensive knife in it is $60, or the most expensive knife in your collection is $700 or $1,200. Whatever, it doesn't matter what that is. The fact that you can create a beautiful looking collection of different types of knives, of different materials, different sizes, different shapes, all that, different designers. Um, it's just that's it's mind blowing what's there today versus what was there 50 years ago, 40 years ago. It's just mind blowing, the leaps and bounds that the industry has made, and it's all because of the people that are in it. That's what's incredible. The reason why it's come as far as it has is because of the people. If only our country could do that with politics, right? Instead of going in the direction that it has gone. But I guess that's enough ranting and raving for today. I hope y'all enjoyed the show, enjoyed the stories. Again, looking so damn forward to Blade Show. So excited. Can't wait. I'm leaving Wednesday, and I won't be home till Monday. I'm staying all the way through Sunday. Last year, I left Sunday early afternoon, like at 1:30, 2 o'clock, I think is when I bugged out. I went to whatever Chinese or Asian place that we ate at there at the mall, and celebrated Cue Ball's birthday. I went to that, and I sat next to Neve's Knives and his wife, Jared and Kara. I sat next to them for that meal, and then like right there with Cue Ball. So yeah, Neve's, Jared and I had a little bit of conversation, and we talked a little bit knives, and he is every bit of the person that he is on YouTube, and his personality and how much he cares and how much he knows. It's mind blowing how much that dude has learned so fast in materials, blade steel materials, heat treatment, sharpening, all that kind of stuff. Just leave it on the ground now. But the wife's starter just got here. Yeah, I'm not excited about having to fix her car tomorrow. I'm really not. I don't want to do it, but it needs to be done. Gotta get that car in working order again, ASAP. But all right. Let me go. Say bye to Bucky, wearing his Jumbo Shrimps baseball helmet. that was good family fun last night with the kids and the wife going to that baseball game. Right? Wasn't that fun game?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had fun going. Suburban's over here. You say bye to everybody so I can end it.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't say blah blah blah.
And did you just recently watch that movie?
What?
Transylvania?
Yeah.
All right. Y'all take care. I'll see you in other lives. I got more work to do this weekend.
I don't say blah blah blah.
Peace.